Hey, how's it going? It's Keith Townsend from the CTOadvisor.com with another CTO Dose preview for Cloud Field Day 3. You know what? I was going to do individual videos for each one of these companies, then I realized from a IT consumer perspective, you're probably looking at all three of these companies, so why not do it justice and talk about what we'll do on that day, which is compare these three companies. They couldn't be any different or take any different approach to solving basically the same problem, and that's enterprise data protection in a cloud native world. So let's talk about the three companies. First, Veritas, founded in 1983. Second company is Druva, founded in 2007. And then the latest company, Rubrik, founded in 2014. All three very different companies. The two new ones, Druva and Rubrik, a lot of noise in the news because obviously Rubrik is a unicorn with over $1 billion valuation. Druva recently received $90 million in funding. And then Veritas, of course, has been bootstrapped since, it's an old school company. Data protection in the cloud native world. This is not cloud native in the sense of containers, but cloud native in the sense that IT practitioners can no longer take this agent-based backup approach. We have virtual machines, we have EC2 instances, we have SaaS, we have PaaS, we have serverless. We have all these technologies that really don't lend themselves to installing an agent on the OS and then backing that data up to whether it's tape or disk or to the cloud, getting data off-prem, shuffling that data to somewhere else in the world where that data can be used, and the metadata around that data is critical to any cloud or data protection strategy. So I'm interested to hear. Veritas, I haven't heard much about their cloud story. I honestly didn't know Veritas had a cloud story. So I'm really excited to hear what they're bringing to market in Cloud Field Day 3. Hopefully it's not an agent-based solution where I'm using their traditional backup solutions, which have done really well in the data center in the past 35 years. Druva, I'm really interested to hear how their technology works. Druva's obviously sponsored the podcast and also CTO doses in the past. However, we haven't really gone deep into the technology. How does ingress charges work when you're dealing with a cloud-focused solution, something that lives in, let's say, AWS versus backing up something that's on-prem or in another cloud platform? How do I get charged from that from an AWS perspective? How does that work? How do I point Druva's tools to my platform? A lot of great questions that we haven't asked and get answered for Druva. Same thing with Rubrik. Rubrik is more of a traditional platform if you take a look at it. I know they don't like to be compared to Cohesity, but you can't help but to compare them to Cohesity. How are they different from their competitors? Their next closest competitor is Cohesity. How are they different? How will they help moving the ball forward? One of the big problems in all of this, which Veritas, Druva, and Rubrik all have to answer, is this challenge around metadata. Metadata has become one of the most important parts of data protection, data mobility, this ability to identify where my data resides in the world and what's in that data archive and how can I leverage that data archive. How does Veritas answer that problem? How does Druva answer that problem? How does Rubrik answer that problem? Then going a step further than answering the problem, how do I enable new applications? We're looking at this secondary data backup as primarily the secondary data market rather is primarily backup and recovery, but data protection is so much more than that. It's hard to even encapsulate it in a single term. And that's enabling new applications. There's a rich amount of data. How do I use data analytics processes and programs against my backup sets to mine the data? Data is the new oil. We asked this question to NetApp. How does NetApp empower data analytics? The same thing. How do these backup companies, or companies that have traditionally been considered backup companies, how do they enable data analytics? Looking forward to that message as well. So that's it for this CTO Dose. If you want to learn more about Cloud Field Day, go to techfieldday.com/events/CFD3 and see who are the other presenting companies. You can subscribe to this channel. I'll be covering all of the companies between now and the start of Tech Field Day in a little over 2 weeks. Talk to you soon.